another edition of the John Wayne Surge Protector Podcast, a 60/40 production. I'm Eric Halsey.
I'm Alex Midway, and I'm here because I wasn't on one of the two tankers that just got blown up in the Strait of Hormuz.
I think we're up to 3 right now.
Oh, we'll be at a dirty dozen before Monday.
But you know what? This is how I know the war is going to be. I'm not really worried about the war. They just blew up a giant tanker.
Uh-huh.
Only one casualty. They didn't even double tap the survivors.
They don't have the guts to continue with the moves that need to be made.
Yeah. Pete Hegseth would never.
Bibi Netanyahu would never.
Who would have thought the peaceful Iranians would be the ones being civil about this?
Do you see Israel just went ahead and said, we're not getting enough action yet, so we're going to go ahead and go after Lebanon at this point.
I did see him and Hezbollah were tapping around. It's hilarious how Bibi's wanted this war since, I don't know, the dawn of time. And he's just never been able to pull the trigger. And then all of a sudden we have one smooth-brained president that's like, yeah, do whatever. And he's like, oh, also I'm going to war with this country and this country and this country. And
you finally got your friend with a car and they drove you to the mall, so why not hit all the stores?
It's that Paul Bearer bringing out Kane, only Kane's got the American flag on. And he's just like, destroy them all, big guy. When did we start letting little brother control the wheel?
When little brother has pictures of our president on an island and he keeps telling us like, this war's not over.
By the end of this thing, which could be tonight or, 2050-ish, do you think more children would have died during the Epstein era or the war because of Epstein era?
Well, first of all, this thing's not ending anytime soon. We'll get into that one today. But I mean, we just knocked off a church or what the school with 176 right off the jump right there. So those numbers are only going to keep increasing. So I'd say the defending Epstein era.
Speaking of defending him, did you see that a-hole from CPAC on Piers Morgan? What the guy who's ever run CPAC, I can't remember his name, was on Piers Morgan. They were, doing their talking head, yelling at each other back and forth. Whoever the liberal guy is, shows up there. It's like, we killed that. That was our bomb. Our missile destroyed that school. We killed the 170. And he's like, and if it wasn't for Israel, those kids would be alive. And the guy goes, yeah, wearing burqas. So maybe we're over the whole fake sympathy thing already.
It's like the one guy from government who's ranting about, he's like, Muslims shouldn't be in this country. Like
Randy Fine? Oh, yeah. No. I know who you're talking about. The guy that looks like every bad guy from an 80s movie.
I didn't even bother looking at it. I was like, this guy's an idiot. I was like, I'm not bothering with this.
He looks like C. Thomas Howell playing a jackass in a movie.
The things that are coming out of people's mouths now, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
They don't belong in this country because their imaginary fairy tale book doesn't say the exact same things as my imaginary fairy tale book.
Like, we're not a Christian nation. We literally came to this place to be able to worship anybody and whoever. Like, that's why we came and started this little project.
No. White people were born here and were raised here, and we're definitely just, this is our country. We were here first. There were no Native Americans, just real Americans.
I love screaming at all the immigrants. Like, buddy, you don't have a last name like Walking Stick or He Who Dances with Wolves. Like, you're an immigrant too.
What do you mean? Smith is the most American name there is.
Yeah. Speaking of immigrants, let's get this party started. It's Thursday. It's not the usual Friday, but everyone's still got to slide down a dinosaur. Get closer to it. Tesla ticker $3.99. It actually went down to $3.95. It was slightly higher, but Elon Musk is the king of comedy. He's starting a tour. And he's talking about a company that he's starting out. And he's like, in principle, it is capable of emulating a function of entire companies. That is why the program is called Macro Hard, a funny reference to Microsoft, is what he said on Wednesday. And anytime you're delivering a joke and you have to explain the punchline, that's always the best.
I know we've talked about making bullying great again to stop this wave of nerds ruining the world. But on the empathetic side, if somebody in high school had just told Elon he's funny, we could have had an autistic kid playing with obsessed with trains and being a failed stand-up comic and still have daddy's emerald money instead of, just going to war with the world so he can become a trillionaire.
Is this the if Hitler gets into art school, we miss out on WW2 theory?
Exactly. And you know what? Again, I say it every episode. I'm not a conspiracy guy until about 18 months ago. Whatever Israel is not behind, Elon is.
Fair enough. But the whole thing with macro hard, and it's him saying what Tesla's going to be doing because he's doing something with XAI. You do notice that he starts it off with in principle. And the definition of that is a general idea or plan, although the details are not yet established or clear. And the second definition is it's used to indicate that although something is theoretically possible, it may not actually happen. And that is about on-brand Elon as you can get.
Well, I mean, he learned from Mr. Concepts of a Plan, so makes sense.
Our stock's going up, our stock's going down. Like, I just need to speak. Like, it's called macro hard. Ha ha ha. I'm so funny. Like, God, if you weren't rich.
I still don't get it, because the right is never going to go to electric cars. And
can't afford it.
The left just hate him, so there's no way, other than government contracts, that anything he does is going to be profitable.
Yeah, well, he's about to get priced out of his AI company, too, because Netflix is just about to pay Ben Affleck $600 million because he's starting a company called Inner Positive. And it's all fun and games until the worst Batman since Clooney gets into your business.
I think Val Kilmer was worse.
No. Val Kilmer Batman?
Yes. Val Kilmer's Batman was better.
You know what? You agree to disagree on that one. Huh?
You don't think Clooney was better than Val Kilmer?
I think Clooney was the worst one.
I think Val wasn't great. Clooney wasn't great either. I think Affleck's easily third from the worst. He's a C average. He's a middle of the packer.
He was not memorable at all.
Numerous movies.
I mean, Elon has numerous dollars. Doesn't make him a very nice person.
But it makes him the best at being the worst of the autistics.
Yeah. So, did you get a chance to take a look at that video I sent to you on X as far as Special Envoy Steve Witkoff talking about the Russians?
Yeah, I did. Are you talking about the one where he was basically like, is Russia sharing intel with Iran, who they are now getting oil from since we released the sanctions?
Yeah, the one where he goes on TV and they're like, hey man, we've heard reports that Russia's giving them targeting data to Iran to blow up U.S. troops. And Steve Witkoff is the diplomatic guy, and he's got his ear to the ground. So what was his response in regards to that?
He said, I asked Russia, and Russia said no. And if we can't take them at their word, then, where are we as a people?
Like, it's awesome. He's like, well, we believe him, but that Zelensky guy, that dude's he's a shisty little fella.
Yeah. Now, normally I would be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? I'd be a little suspect on this. It doesn't seem right. But since we got rid of DEI and it's not a black woman, I guess I can just take Witkoff at his word, right?
Yeah. It was, what's it called? I was watching TV today, and it's like one of the little tickers came across the bottom. It's like, President Vladimir Putin tells the U.S. and Israel to stop their war at a cover negotiation table. Like, oh, come on. This can't be real.
What? We need a new word for irony.
Like, the voice of reason is a guy who's on his 5th year invading a place. He's like, you guys just need to negotiate. This needs to stop. Like, buddy, we're only about to approach 2 weeks here.
Yeah. Honestly, if we filmed this as a movie, people would stop and be like, there's not a chance anybody would say something that's stupid and asinine.
We have a Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah. Peacemaker, the war series.
So, let's get into, now that we find out what Russia's doing, let's find out what's going on in Russia. And it seems every episode we're talking about a Russian factory being relocated to a farm in upstate New York. And honestly, I'm all for it. As Ukraine's military said British Storm Shadow missiles were used against a Cremini L factory, and they posted a video of it. And this is an actual place that had microchips that they were making, and they were used in rockets, and these rockets have been careened towards Ukraine. But in case you want an actual dog in this race, and how does this affect me? Like, well, some of the microchips this factory made also are used in Shahed drones out there in Iran. They found actual pieces of it, and they're used to attack U.S. bases. So Ukraine took care of that one.
Again, I can't get over the fact that he hasn't just said have you even said thank you yet? I just, how he can be so unpetty. I should admire it. I kind of hate him for it.
He reminds us all that he's a better man than most.
And he was like an actor, right? He wasn't even a politician.
He was an actual actor in a very famous Russian series, which makes it the wildest thing. And then he got elected. And just like, well, I mean, our current president used to be an actor too. But this one, if we could have a choice, I'd take Zelensky in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he acted in pedophilic videos that Israel owns, allegedly.
Yeah, our guy also recorded a couple of videos too. But the governor of the Bryansk region where his factory was, he said on Telegram that 6 civilians were killed and 37 were injured. But he never mentioned anything about the plant. He's like, oh yeah, just 6 people died. And then the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman came out and said, she's like, these strikes are premeditated and directed against civilians. And she's out there challenging the UN to assess what occurred. Honestly, if you work inside a factory that builds weapons of war and a missile comes to that factory from the other end during your working hours, you're a combatant as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, it was premeditated. And I hate to break it to you, but it's going to be a whole lot more, Maria.
All right. So since we're circling back again, this is like that Clerks contractors working on the Death Star conversation.
What's this?
So in Clerks, there's this great scene where he's talking about some guy challenged him. He was like, no, the Jedis were bad. When they blew up that Death Star, you think your average stormtrooper knows how to install a toilet or, run electrical? No, that all that work had to be contracted out. And the Jedis never even thought about that before they blew up the Death Star. And then the argument is, if you're working on the Death Star, there is a clear risk, you have to analyze before you agree to the job. Like working on a mafioso's house, like installing gutters.
Yeah. It's and around us here in Arizona, apparently there's like an ice warehouse that they're building, another one. And they're having a very hard time finding people to do work at it because, I don't know, most of the people who work in the building trades aren't white.
Yeah, it's almost like the same fence problem we were having.
Where we painted the wrong side of a fence.
Though I do like how Russia basically came out and were like, this was a terrorist attack. And they're like, is that where Kristi Noem ended up?
Like, you guys are targeting civilians. Like, what were they doing? Like, well, they were being civilians. Like, what were they doing? Like, they're building microchips for rockets. We were going to kill yours.
Just the same like those microchip workers at your grocery stores and apartment buildings and everything else we've been blowing up for 5 years.
They're just like you guys, except they're actively working on killing you.
Yeah.
So I never touted Russia, Tula. They actually came out and did the whole thing on was it Telegram, I believe. It did the whole "We Are Bryansk" thing, and like we stand strong, like got real strong, like "We Are Charlie Kirk" vibes from the campaign. So Ukraine went ahead and helped him out. As flames engulfed the Kasagorsk metallurgical plant in Russia's Tula Oblast. It's on the 11th. And there's a bunch of pictures by the local residents of fires. And the cause of the fire is not officially disclosed, but earlier in the evening, an aerial alert sounded over Tula due to the threat of Ukrainian drones. I don't know, man. I don't think it was a lit cigarette. And in case you're keeping track, Tula's more than 200 miles away from the border, and Ukrainians are hitting that bad boy.
Well, clearly they're the aggressive bad guys in this war. So, what else would you expect from these terrorists?
It's so wild. Like, ever since, like, Ukraine stopped having to ask Pete Hegseth for permission to bomb things, the amount of damage and how effective they've been is just amazing to watch.
Do you think it kills Pete that everybody reveres Zelensky and everybody thinks that the makeup counter boy is a joke?
That might be the reason he drinks.
It might be the reason he just kicked out. They said no more photo ops
Uh-huh.
within the Pentagon because he doesn't like the pictures they're posting.
Buddy, maybe it's you. Like, you have a makeup desk. Like, you came from makeup counters and everything else like that, and now you don't like the photos? That's on you.
Well, in his defense, we all remember Patton, in World War II, definitely would not get up during what's the bugle
Oh, Reveille.
you guys wake up to every morning?
Yeah, Reveille in the morning, colors at night.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Patton, clearly wouldn't get up unless he had to get his makeup caked on and everything before he
Yeah.
went to war. Just like Pete. Just like Pete.
General Mattis always made sure that he stopped by Sephora before going on deployment. This guy's a freaking joke.
Welcome to Pentagon Presser, brought to you by Ulta.
The wildest thing is, like, what's it called? We talked about this a couple episodes back, how Ukraine, a lot of people reached out to Ukraine for interceptor drones. And it's come out that Ukraine went ahead and dropped off 800 interceptor drones with the U.S. And to date, throughout the entire war, the U.S. has donated, over the span of a war, the U.S. donated 600. They've now donated more stuff over to the U.S. than the U.S. has helped them.
Have you ever watched a single mother control like numerous wild kids at the same time? Where it's almost like they're swinging like backwards, like no look contact, trying to snatch kids up. This is how I feel Honey Badger Stan is. Just problems on left and right and up and down, and they're just handling. Like, honestly, once this is all settled, when President Newsom ends all this nonsense, Zelensky needs to do something more important for the rest of the world.
He needs to get moved in some kind of a role out there. But we got to get there first. So it's one thing like that came out is the fact that our current spending budget, like so far, we ran through about $11 billion in the first 6 days of that war. And some people are saying like these numbers might be lower than what they really are. And again, we just had a jobs report that 92,000 jobs were lost, and we're no longer talking about those. But let's move right along, because apparently the Air Force, under the control of Eric Kirk, I would imagine, decided they were loading bunker busters on a B-1 Lancers over at an RAF base out in England. And I don't know what's up with that.
I think we should all just be thankful that one of our quote-unquote allies still trusts us enough to allow us onto a base. So, again, maybe we go glass half full on this one.
That is true. The English are still allowing us on there. But the fact that they were photographing these photos, like these Lancers, they were putting these bombs on, and they had them right by the actual fence. So where all the best photographs could be gotten, they like, check it out, we're about to really start bombing you guys really hard. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm just old school military, but usually you don't telegraph moves like that. Like when you're loading up different rounds, or when you have like your special like Secret Service guys practicing something else, getting ready for an attack. You don't let that get photographed. Maybe do that on the inside of a base. I don't know.
Well, in all due respect, though, you served when we were losers and sissies.
Yeah.
And right now, we are just warriors. No, not worrying about rules of engagement, or we don't need the element of surprise. Because, historically, that hasn't mattered for tough guys. Never once in history has that backfired at all.
We kicked out all the trannies, and now we're thinking about a draft. And they're saying, like, some people, like, if you don't want to go to the military, just identify as they, them.
Yeah. Erica Halsey will not be reporting for duty.
What do you boys want? Like, I got a makeup counter to go to. Like, oh, we can't take him.
Get one of those cushy office jobs in the Pentagon. Resupplying eyeshadow for Pete.
Yeah. Like, some of the jobs out there. Honestly, we talk a lot of trash about MAGA people, but we had the MAGA scientists who turned into world experts, turned into currently engineers, and they're talking about doing a Suez Canal to bypass the Strait of Hormuz, and it just brings a smile on my face. Like, did you see that?
Yeah, and I don't get like the arrogance in your tone right now. I mean, how difficult could it possibly be to just make a canal? It seems simple and easy, and I've got a fourth grade education.
Clearly, coming from an infectious diseases background, it should be nothing. But just
Once I got my doctorate in nanobots,
yeah.
now I'm moving on to dredging. Like, yeah, just in the middle of an active war zone, we'll just make a new canal. It should be done in 24 hours, I'm guessing.
Yada yada yada. Put a couple of things here. A Tesla Cybertruck. We'll just use them to move all the oil.
Yeah, didn't it
And
take Panama like 30 years and slaves to pull that off?
it was actually only 10 years, so we're already pushing the numbers down.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Well, 10 quick years for this war that should be already over, according to our president.
Yeah. Like, it'll take us longer to build a freaking iPhone factory in the States. But yeah, go ahead. Let's do some dredging on there. But honestly, there are multiple engineers and there are multiple ways to attack this in the MAGA community. And another one was like they picture some donkeys and moving the oil by land or just transport. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, we just need to make trucks bigger. The size of a tanker.
Tesla Cybertruck, like just get them like that. Like you guys really don't know what a liquid ton looks like, do you?
Do you think it's Elon and it's just like a 2-mile long baking sheet on top of like 1,000 Cybertrucks? And he's like, God, I figured this out.
I'll have some stupid name for it too, like it's a penis reference. Like, God, if you have to explain the punchline, Elon, like, shut up, I'm rich.
Comedy 101, 2 hats.
And the other thing that they're out there, like, they're out there screaming about, like, oh my God, there might be drone strikes in California. Like, and I have a picture of a Shaheed drone. And we went over a range of a Shaheed drone, and I'm not very good at geography. But I'm guessing Iran to the west coast of the United States is more than the 1,500 miles that this thing's rated for. But yeah, and if you attack like America to get back at Trump, like why you would go after the state with a governor who just keeps yelling at Trump makes no sense to me. Like you would go after Kentucky, but that's even farther away and maybe out of a range of the drones.
And Trump doesn't seem super happy with Kentucky either, so
we'll go in a little thing down there in Kentucky in a little bit, but one thing that Trump has been doing is he's been getting help from up above. Because a while back, not a while back, but about 6 days ago, a bunch of preachers gathered around him and they had this whole video and like came out of pictures. It's the whole like Jesus on his shoulder, except now it's a bunch of like preachers out there and they're talking about give him the strength and everything else. Like this is a guy who's banging porn stars while he's married, has had multiple divorces, and clearly hasn't read more than 2 pages of a Bible, but sure, he banned abortions. You guys do you.
Well, if there was ever a time where, we have wars, we have, upcoming famine, never mind, that doesn't exist. This is the perfect time where Americans really need to hunker down and take whatever money they have left over from groceries, assuming you can afford those, and buy our acrylic crystal crosses. This is so stupid. Stupid people. I hate Christianity so popular.
Like, I know we're a party of not feeding kids and hating immigrants, but seriously, buy these crosses so you can show everyone how pious you are. Like, go F yourselves.
Honestly, the cross is starting to get that same connotation that an American flag's been getting over the past decade.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it. It's kind of nice when somebody just tells you right off the bat what kind of an a-hole they are.
Especially when it's a cross and it has diamonds in it. Be like, buddy, that ain't a Jesus cross. Like, you're doing that one for sure. And I do love all these studies. They always come out and be like, why are less millennials going to church? I'm like, how much time you got? This is an easy one.
Feel like because that magic book they keep referring to keeps getting, science just keeps dunking on it and saying no.
Wild. But it's like, speaking of dunking, I honestly, go ahead.
Sorry. No. Perfect example. You're like, dinosaurs existed at the same time as people. And you're like, is that what the magic snake told you? Yeah. Like, there's not a chance. We can carbon date bones. Like, it was millions of years of difference. Like, this book says otherwise.
The only carbon I care about is when I roll coal, brother.
The book that says this guy walked on water one time 2,000 years ago says all your scientific data's wrong. I hate this.
Lightning's caused by when our God is angry. Like, yeah, that sounds about right.
When it's raining, it's because he's crying. Like, I've never met something dumber. Sorry, Mom.
But if there is a God, it'd be raining the entire time because that guy's like, I can't believe they're this dumb.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But hey, never mind. Let's go back to the Brain Trust in DC.
Well, the Brain Trust DC is actually getting dunked on by a bunch of factory workers in China. And honestly, I didn't think we'd live to the day where Chinese factory workers would be dunking on a sitting president. But here we are. Because currently they're all out there just recreating the photo, and they're all gathered around the actual boss that they have. They're putting their hands on it, and they're just posting it up. He's like, oh man, I hope we're able to get production of aluminum up and stuff like that. And I find it hilarious.
Yeah, whoever's good at AI, if you can recreate that, only it's nothing but Epstein's with their hands on Trump, and it seems like they're crying about all these 175 Iranian girls that could have easily been trafficked. If you could make that up for us, that'd be great. We'd love to use it for wall art.
I mean, we have quite a few. It's we can make that happen. I'll take a look at it, see if we can get a decent one, or we'll get something else for the album art. But did you see the video of what's it called? Trump at his rally in Kentucky.
Is there a doctor in the building one?
Yes.
Yes.
So for everyone who hasn't seen it, you probably heard about Trump. He went down to Kentucky, and it's part of like Elect Me, Elect Republicans, and also F. Thomas Massey tour. And someone in the audience, and they zoom in on him, it's like this one guy, he's all in on Trump because he's in the front row. And it looks like he's nursing a hangover, and at a certain point, he just falls down and passes out. So Trump turns around and he says, without any kind of like laughter in his voice, like a serious question, he's like, is there a doctor in the building? And again, we are in Kentucky at a MAGA rally.
Yeah, it was wildly similar to that Family Guy episode where they're at a Kid Rock concert and a guy has a heart attack. He goes, oh, is there a doctor here? He goes, there is not one effing way.
It's the same type of deal, man. It's like, come on. Did you watch the rest of it? Because it only got better.
No, I cut. As soon as I saw it, I was like, they're doing this on purpose now. Now they're just trolling.
No. So essentially, like, when he asks if there's a doctor, there's no doctor. And he's like, well, I wonder if the people in the back are listening to me. He's like, if they are listening, we should put on Ava Maria song. And that's the song, like, his supporters out there. He's flat out there trying to resuscitate him. He can't find a doctor. So they could put on the Ave Maria song, the one that in Latin means Hail Mary. And he just stands there vibing to it, doing his little dance. And in the end, they did find a doctor, so good news. But downside is it was Dr. Oz, so he probably just got beetroot.
Wow. Like, sir, if you can hear me, I need you to buy this $100 bottle of cream.
Go to convulsions if you agree. Like, there it is. We have it. Give him a beet juice.
This stops sunstroke and male pattern baldness.
Also, it's good for sexual performance. Like, you might need that as well. It does it all.
This was made by the same company that made the George Foreman grill.
What's it
has
called?
The dumbest name, and I hope it's 75 words long.
At this point, you just want to skip over the Washington part. Just bump it down to yours, and I'll put Washington for Tuesday.
All right. All right, so just jump to we're skipping over Schultz. Okay.
Yeah, just start off so last week.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, just skip a whole little Schultz thing. I'll just do that on Tuesday when more stuff comes out on it. Since we're already running behind, and just go straight to your spot.
Okay. 48, 49. So last week we talked about Texas Rep. Tony Gonzalez sexually harassing a staffer until she killed herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, fun little tidbit rolled out from that S show. Evidently, Congress has a slush fund that they can use to pay off sexual harassment claims.
Of course.
All right. So these a-holes make about $200,000 a year on the books, right? Then last year, there was a push to stop members of Congress from being able to trade stocks, because of, they're the ones making the laws. It's, how do you put America first over your own wealth? But MAGA Mike came out and said they need to be able to play the stock market to offset the pay cut they took to run our stupid little country.
Yeah.
Right? So they're providing a service, but they would also like to get paid for it again. Okay, got it. Very selfless. Well, it looks like on top of that, these greaseballs also have a kitty of cash that we paid for. So they can pay off a staffer when they feel unwanted.
I have so many questions. First of all, they're the only place that I know about who vote themselves on whether they want to give themselves a pay raise. The other thing is more of it is a question. When did $200K become poor people money?
The everyday American makes roughly $8 to $12 million a year, and that's how our seniors can afford 15 to 20 houses, before they retire.
The mom and pop business.
Yeah.
And also, I want to see the numbers of a slush fund. Which party is abusing the hell out of it?
Yeah, honestly, I'm completely against this $1 trillion and a half military budget from a Pentagon that can't, have a straight audit with $500 billion.
Uh-huh.
I don't think, as Republicans love to say, throwing money at a problem doesn't solve it.
One of the things I saw the other day came out is Republicans are now only 2 years away from pretending to be fiscally responsible again.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'd love to know how in the hell we made this happen. Yeah. This is going to be one of those Citizens United, it happened in the middle of the night, nobody figures it out till 10 years later kind of deal.
If my tax dollars go for your diddling, I want to know which one of you I paid.
Yeah, you're telling me you guys forced Matt Gaetz out and he definitely used this slush fund for underage kids, and somehow nobody is, the worst he got was almost appointed attorney general.
You think they kicked him out because they were like, uh-oh, we're kind of running low with Gates. We need some of this money ourselves.
Quick, pull everything from hotel stock and put it into PPE. I've got an idea. Loafer, you're in charge.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm really starting to hate this country. All right, so normally this is the part where we shield the left and we blast the right. But since most 12-year-olds don't have bank accounts, I'm guessing the slush fund applies to both sides. Well, the slush fund isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but we do have a shot at some kind of accountability. Glass half full. Nancy Mace this week introduced a bill to publicly release any congressional sexual harassment investigations. Okay, let that sink in. Again, we're on the same side as Nancy Mace. Now, I'm not a savvy DC insider like her, but I kind of figured this was already happening. It's not. Turns out any claims are kept under wraps and personally investigated by the Ethics Committee in Congress. So they get to judge themselves whether whoever they're sexually harassing needs to have any further action. Pretty gross. So I'm guessing this is a slam dunk from the most transparent administration in history. But in a very bipartisan vote, everybody decided to keep those skeletons right where they are in the closet, pulling the bill 357 to 65. That's pretty rough, man.
Actually, I read about this one. And there was a whole thing about Nancy Mace unleashing on AOC about it. And she was like, you didn't even vote for this. When I first saw this, I'm like, what the F, Democrats? I'm like, you guys are messing up. The reason, I know AOC at least voted against it is because the way Nancy Mace had it set, blacking out the names would be kind of one of the smallest things they did, and you'd be able to identify all the people in there if you looked hard enough. So it didn't have enough protections for the victims.
But if we're paying the victims with taxpayer dollars, is that why all this money is unaccounted for?
If one of our guys is out there going after a 16-year-old or anything else like that, we shouldn't punish the 16-year-old. The 16-year-old, obviously, money's not going to do anything, but you know what? You pay him the money, you try to tell him to get a normal life. but you shouldn't put them on blast and have their actual name known to the rest of the world. It's the same thing with anyone who gets raped. Like, if they don't want to be known, they don't want to be known. In this bill, the way that it was worded, it was going to put all the victims' names out there. That's why it was actually voted against.
Yeah, but why can't they just redact it like it's the Epstein files?
Because they wouldn't. That's the whole thing about it. It's kind of like a lot of times when you see like a bill that gets in front of Congress and it's called like money for our veterans supporting the troops. And then like in it, it's just like effing the VA and just gutting everything. And when Democrats vote against it, like, see, you hate the troops. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like Nancy Mace put something out there, but if you actually read through everything past the headline, it's not that good of a bill.
Well, I refuse to do that. But
you belong in Congress.
Yeah. Well, could be running soon. The economy sucks. Might as well try and find a new job. I can be a scumbag.
As we finish up everything, everybody wants to get out of here, but we told you guys the last episode of the week, we're going to do a feel-good story. And this one it starts off like you're wondering what the F, because these are just stories about Trump supporters who don't end up very well. But Abdelatif Hafroui of Bayonne was taken into custody by Immigration and Custom Enforcement at Newark Liberty International Airport last August as he and his wife, Sandra Hafroui, were heading to, of course, Florida on vacation. Over the course of 108 days, the 60-year-old said he was moved from New Jersey's Delaney Hall detention facility to Louisiana and later to Arizona before being released on $15,000 bond. And honestly, if your name is Abdelatif Hafroui and you voted for Trump, you deserve everything that happens to you and more.
Yeah, that's more like one of those shame on you things.
When I read the name, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this guy went to the polls like, Donald Trump, that's my guy. Fair enough.
Yeah, well, hope you enjoyed your 108-day vacation. I'm sure it was fun. And depending on what part of Florida you were going, might still be better than Jacksonville.
Might have been going to Alcatraz. Like, good news, bad news. You'll still get to go to Florida.
Duval.
Yeah. Big stupid. All right, I got to get out of here because apparently the Buffalo Sabres are playing hockey tonight, and they've been a little bit of a hot streak. Ooh. So making up for the NFL team, and we'll see what happens.
Did see something pop up about a guy was like Sabres game. There's a guy in the whatever, the 300 smoking a cigarette in the stadium. Buffalo hockey's back, baby.
Oh, we're smuggling, getting all kinds of booze in there too. Oh, it's on. It's they so far have, I think, an 8-game winning streak, so it should be fun to watch tonight.
Well, all for it. Go Sabres.
I'm Alex Medway. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
I'm Eric Halsey.
Daddy, chill.
Later, Gators.